We suffer more in imagination than in reality. So my sister had some trouble at school, and the morning before she had to be there, I could see she was just laying in her bed, experiencing the fear and anxiety of the event that she was imagining. She was just at home in her bed, but her body was responding as if she was, about to fight, or she was getting ridiculed or something. This is what we all do. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. And even if the actual event lives up to your expectations, which is really unlikely, more often than not, your imagination of the situation is going to be worse than it actually is, which is the spotlight effect, another video. It just doesn't make sense that we are responding hours beforehand. An animal will see a predator, go into fight or flight, and then 10 minutes later, when they're safe, they'll be completely relaxed, the adrenaline will be getting flushed out of their system, and they'll be eating grass again. They'll be chilling, like 10 minutes later. They're not constantly on edge, like, when imagining a tiger like biting into them or something. But us humans can think about the past and the future, so we suffer more in imagination than in reality. The body can't tell the difference between an imagined event and something that's actually happening. That's why, if you start thinking about a fight, you'll get into fight or flight, you'll get ready to fight, even though it's in your head. You're alone in your room. So, my sister that morning, hours before the actual interaction she had to have, was feeling the emotions. Like, in advance, she was feeling bad. And what's the point? This quote, "You suffer more in imagination," that's from Seneca, in a letter he wrote to his friend. He's a Stoic philosopher. He said, "You will suffer soon enough, so meanwhile look for better things." Like, if you know something bad's coming up, there's no point hours before. You're like doubling the experience. If you're reacting to it emotionally, like the night before, it's like you're going through it twice. And I know it's really hard to not, and I've got a solution for you. It's meditation. Meditation is about bringing yourself into the present. It's not about like not having thoughts. It's about presence, mindfulness, which is the opposite of like going into the future or into the past and experiencing emotions in advance. If you find yourself in the future and you're responding as if you're in the future with all your fear and anxiety, just notice you're doing it. That's the first bit. Or deliberately say you're going to meditate. Maybe it's happening right now and you're watching this video, and in that case, immediately after this video, you're to begin meditating. And all that is you bring yourself into the present so you can become aware of the sounds that are happening around you. There's also a lot more sounds as well than you realise. It's really crazy. Like, you think, when you're sat on your phone and you're like in your head, you think you know what's going on around you, but you are in another world. When you stop and meditate, you'll hear like there's so much more going on. So that's one of them. Bring yourself into the present with the sound, the sensations of your body, your breathing. And then once you find you've drifted back into the future or the past, you notice it, go, oh yeah, I'm meditating, and you come back to the present. And that is 1 rep. That's like a pull-up. It's not about staying in the present for like a long amount of time. Like when I started meditating, it was like, oh yeah, I've got to like be empty and like not think and sit here, and it just doesn't work like that. It's actually when you notice yourself in the present or future and you come back to the present moment. That is meditation. Then as well, if you're really feeling a lot of fear and anxiety, bringing yourself back into the present can get rid of that for you, because your body will react to wherever you are. Like, if you're comfortable, like my sister's laying in bed, so she should be comfortable, she could be content and like happy, her dog is there with her, and that's the kind of emotions you should be experiencing. You should feel pretty calm and safe and comfortable. So if you're not experiencing those things, you're having fear, presence will really help that. And it should become a habit of yours. Obviously you can use this as a tool when you are panicking and you're like going, your mind is spiraling. But if you develop this into a habit, your brain will actually change and you'll become more mindful over time and become less likely to experience this like spiraling. To make it a habit, you need to attach it to something you do every day. I actually have a planner, like I structure my weeks, and I still don't have anything that is guaranteed that I do every day, except I wake up and I go to bed. So I attach my habits to waking up and to going to bed. For you, and I started attaching it to my sleep just before I go to sleep, because this is often when we spiral. So just before you go to sleep, just sit up in bed and do a couple reps, like be in the present, feel it. And remember, this will feel good immediately. It will immediately solve this spiraling you're having. And there are long-term effects if you keep it up. You start to perceive mindfulness in your day-to-day reality, like not when you're meditating or just after, but just as a baseline, your mindfulness will be higher after about 100 minutes of meditation. So that's 10 days with 10 minutes. You know, it might be a month of like a couple minutes every night. This is your actionable step. Tonight, or right to now, I want you to go ahead and do some meditation, get some reps in, and it will improve your life. Mindfulness is one of the things that like just improves all aspects of your life. The more you do it, the better it will get, the better you'll feel in literally every aspect of your life. I've been meditating since college, and it has helped me so much in not like spiraling. Also, if you're looking to actually change your behaviours, self-awareness is the first step, and self-awareness comes from mindfulness and noticing your brain. You have the person who watches, which is like your true self, your spirit, and then you have your brain and your ego and all of this stuff. You'll notice as you meditate that you're watching these thoughts, you're not making them, they're just happening. So you take a step back from all the pain that you imagine, and you're the watcher. It's really good for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want some help, there's my coaching link in the description, and I'll see you in the next video, okay?